Hold on. Please don't mind me whistling. I just love it. It's more like my hobby. Sometimes I do it without noticing that I'm whistling at that particular time, or birding or something. Yeah, but, looking after the cows in my early ages. Then we had no laptops, no WhatsApp, nothing. So we could not come up with something to entertain ourselves. No PlayStation. So we came up with these indigenous games. So, whistling competitions, and I love it so much. And we also used it for communication as well. So now, ladies and gentlemen, what we see right in front of us is the pile of stones. In Zulu, we call it isivivane. Can you try that? It's very easy. There are no clicks right there. Isivivane was basically introduced a very, very long time ago to respect or to pay a tribute to those warriors who were killed in the battles. So this is what happened. A lot of warriors got killed while trying to protect their territories, while fighting to protect their villages, as well as their livestock, children, as well as women. In the battlefields, a lot of men died because they fought their battles away from the Zulu villages, making sure that children as well as women would never witness the bloodsheds. And out there, a lot of men got killed, and survivors sometimes were fewer in such a way that they were not able to pick up the bodies for those warriors who were killed and transport them back to the villages to bury them properly. So for each warrior who was killed, they had to bury him and make something unique, the pile of stones like this. So it makes it very easy for a passerby to spot or to realize that there is the battle that took place right there. Because let me be honest with you, it won't be just one pile, but normally it will be a couple of piles close together. So when you see something like this, to pay a tribute, to wish yourself a good luck, you just pick up a stone from the ground. No matter the size, even a very small stone, a rock can make it. And spit on each just a little bit and throw it on top. Why spit? It is simply because anyone can throw. So with your little spit, it simply means your stone is well personalized. So you throw it right on top and be careful it stays. Because if it stays on top, it's a very, very good luck. If it rolls back towards the ground, it's a tough one. No pressure at all. No pressure. I hope you don't feel no pressure at all right now. So please give it your best shot, and then we are going to move on to sit or stand around the model right over there. Don't stone me, please. Not at me. Not at me. It looks like you're cheating. Have you been practicing for such a very long time? Maybe I was busy explaining. Ladies and gentlemen, now what we see down here is the replica of the Zulu homestead, and all of what you see just represents one family. So before we build any of these huts, we start by building the big hut first right over here. And the big hut in Zulu is called Indlu ya Kwagogo. No, I'm not going to ask you. So Indlu ya Kwagogo simply means the grandmother's hut. It is the most important hut in the Zulu homestead. It is for the family meetings, and it is where we get to communicate with our ancestors. So there is no homestead without the grandmother's hut. So, a man can still get married to many wives. Is it the same back where you come from? Are you maybe considering allowing polygamy? Ladies are like, no, we're going to kill you, right? So, today, to be honest with you, polygamy is still allowed, and a man can still get married to many wives. That also depends on how many cows do you have, because we still have got to pay ilobolo, and ilobolo is the bride price that the man has got to give. It's more like an appreciation token to the parents before you take their daughter as your wife. So you give the amount of 11 cows. Like, is it really expensive? Yes, it is. That's why I'm not married yet. One cow can cost up to the average of 11. I mean, 11 could be 11,000, but that is way more. But the average is just 8,000 or 9,000 rand for just one cow. Yeah, very, very expensive. So for this example, the headman is married to 3 wives. This here is the first wife's hut, and we call her Ulu. And here is the second wife's hut, Ikosho, and the third one right over here, Ikadi. You can get married up to as many wives. With a lot of cows, many wives. No cow, no wife. What I love about this polygamy is that no one is forced to practice polygamy. You must separate your wives. You don't put them under one roof. That is why there is the first, second, and third wife. If there was the fourth wife, she will be staying right over there, fifth, sixth, and so on and so on. We've got odd numbers and even numbers. We know that sharing is caring, right? Yeah, but sharing the husband is something else. Eh? Maybe they should be very specific with sharing is caring. What actually do they mean? So, well, that is why you separate your wives, and also because each wife deserves her privacy. And their husband stays right over here. This hut in Zulu, a very, very small one, is called Ilau. Ilau is the hut for the headman, and it is intentionally very small. It has got the space for 2 people. That is him and one of his wives. No wife is allowed to just go in and pay him a visit without being invited. You need an invitation first. So more than 2 people in that hut, it is like an overload. That's the timeshare, ladies and gentlemen. And on top of the sticks, there is the hut that we call Inqolobane. Would you like to try that? Inqolobane is where we actually store our food. Wow. Yes. Oh, really good. Have you been practicing before you came here? No. Maybe you read a lot of books, you're like, okay, well, I would love to know that. Practice. Thank you so much. That is perfect. So Inqolobane is where we actually store our food, fruits and vegetables. We try to keep it high so that cows and goats won't be able to reach on top there and eat our food. Yebo. And below Inqolobane there is Iqhiba. Iqhiba is the kitchen hut where we prepare our daily meals. And of course, you might be very, very confused right now. There is 1 kitchen and 3 wives. You might be like, how does it work? So it is 1 wife at the time. And when that 1 wife cooks, she must make sure that she prepares the meal for this whole family. And tomorrow it will be the 2nd wife, and so on and so on. Imagine if the man has got maybe like 7 wives. That simply means each wife cooks only once a week. Yeah, 31 wives once a month. Yeah. Would you want to get into that relationship? It's up to you. Well, the kitchen is well identified with the spaces or like the openings all around. If you can look at it carefully, you can see the openings for releasing the smoke when there is someone cooking inside. In Zulu, we call it Iqhiba. And by the main entrance right over here, you see these 2 huts. These are for the children. And not just any children, but only those who are matured or old enough to not stay or sleep with their mothers. The average age of moving will be like 14 years, 15 years. Then they move from these huts and come stay with their siblings right over here, irregardless of which mother do you come from. Boys should be on the right-hand side. When I say on the right-hand side, as you approach or as you go inside the Zulu homestead, on your right-hand side, you will always find the hut for the boys. And on your left-hand side, you will find the hut for the girls. It's not because men are always right, but it is the man must always carry his protection, something to protect himself, like the shield in his left hand as well as the weapon in his right. So shields should come first for protection first, of course. So anyone who comes in should see your shield first, so it makes it very easy also for you to defend or to protect yourself. If you decide to be right over here with the girls, that means your entire body is exposed because your shield should always be in your left hand. That is why men are always on the right hand side. Yeah, and also one of the main reasons why we don't have ladies first. I feel like I should explain about this because, well, surely I'm going to have trouble trying to separate men and be like, men first. You're like, oh, where do you get that? Where do you come from? We have got ladies first. For protection first, we have got men first. Men are supposed to be the protection of all the women as well as children. Therefore, no one puts his protection behind. Your protection should be in front at all the time. When the warrior goes to the fight, the shield should be in front. And men are supposed to serve as the shield. That is why we have got men first. I'm not criticizing anything. I believe that everything happens for a reason, a very, very good reason. So that is the reason behind us having men first, of course. So it's not about what I'm here to tell you. It's about what would you like to know? Would you like to ask questions before I explain about what's happening in the middle? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are standing by the gate to the Zulu homestead, and we are not allowed to just walk in without asking for a permission. It's very important. Anyone who was found inside the Zulu homestead walking without asking for a permission, they deserve to be punished, because only enemies can just walk in without asking for a permission. If you sneak in, no one will be like, yes, can we attack now? Are you ready? So that is why the gentleman is going to ask for a permission. That simply means we may go inside. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a very good singer, so I prefer to use my whistle. You know, the whistle helps me quite a lot. I love to sing so much, but sometimes I don't know the lyrics, and you just love the song, so when you whistle, it's more like you know everything. We actually created this place, or built this place, so that we could be able to explain more about the importance of the wildlife today. Have you been to like the game reserves?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, well, you might have seen some animals such as the rhinos and antelopes and stuff. And we must know that Zulus really respected the animals a very, very long time ago. And even with hunting, no one was allowed to just hunt at any time, because we had that our next generation should benefit from the antelopes, should benefit from the livestock, should also benefit from these animals. So if you decide to go each and every day because you crave meat and kill everything, what is your future generation going to have? Nothing. So while we make sure that we make sure that we preserve the nature, so that our next generation could be able to also benefit from such. And pity today with the wildlife such as the rhinos, as we can see right over here. This is the giant rhino right over here. So the rhinos, people tend to poach them for their horns, and it is very, very harsh because the number keeps on decreasing. And I'm very, very scared that we are going to run out. So that is why we built this place, so that we could be able to teach everyone about how important this livestock is, or the wildlife is. So a very long time ago, we know that animals are very, very territorial, especially with the rhinos. You can name them hippopotamus, but then Zulus never dared to go close to the place where we know that there are leopards, or maybe there are lions. So we respected each other's territory, because the lion knows that if we see it in the village, surely we are going to know that our livestock is in danger. So surely we must protect it. And if you also dare to go to the forest where there is a pride of lions, then surely you are more likely to be killed. So that is how people ended up respecting the animals, of course. And Zulus really do not eat the rhinos. We don't eat the buffaloes. We don't eat the elephant. So what's the use of killing the animal if you're not going to benefit anything from it? Nothing. So where you could be able to see right over here, and Zulus managed to copy a couple of things about animals, their strength as well as their abilities, as well as the shapes and stuff. Remember, I explained at the bottom side about the buffalo horns formation that King Shaka had to introduce. He copied the horns, or the shape of the horns for the buffalo, and then ended up coming up with the super strategy of encircling the enemies. And did you know that our last names, most of our last names about the animals, especially the wildlife, got them Ndlovus. Ndlovu, you might find someone like Mbuso Ndlovu. I've got a friend from the Ndlovu clan. Ndlovu just simply means the elephant. So we Sanibonani nonke. Sanibonani. Do you remember the word? That is just hello. We say siyaphila. Can we say siyaphila? Siyaphila simply means we're good, and when he says ninjani or he asks ninjani, that is how are you all. Siyaphila means we're fine. We're ready for the Zulu beer. Yes. Oh, sorry. This gentleman right over here, ladies and gentlemen, is the gentleman that I call our tailorman. Tailormen are those people who makes the outfit out of different skins, of course, and they could be able to sell it to other people so that they could be able to get something like the payment in form of like the livestock. So in the meantime, he's just demonstrating on how to make the shield. Basically, he uses different skins to make different things. Small shields like the one that he is currently making are used by men to protect themselves when they play the stick fighting. And also when we perform the Zulu dance. All shields in the Zululand are made out of the cow leather, the thickest and the strongest for the protection. And if you're very, very good at making something, you have to make quite a lot and sell it to other people so that you can get the payment. And also make sure that you don't die with the knowledge. You will have to pass it on to the next person. It might be your brother or your son. In case when you die, somebody within the family should be able to continue. And this is no joke, because you could be able to make the shields. As you can see, the final shields right over here with the nice, beautiful decoration, which makes it also very easy for you to identify your shield, because it does not have to be white and with the black decoration. You can use any color scheme. And then they also make the wooden spears down here. This is the talking stick right over here for disciplining people, and also the talking stick that was used in the very, very important meetings. We call it the talking stick because in a very important meeting it gave you the right to speak. At the beginning of the meeting, the chairman will be holding it. That gives him the right to speak and introduce the meeting, talk about the agenda. But should you have questions, then you must get the stick first before you could be able to speak. And that is how they prevented the crowd talking at the very same time. You fail to talk with the stick in your hand, or if you talk without the stick in your hand, then the discipline is very close by. Hey, come back, fellow. So everything that you see right over here from the shields, as well as the wooden spears, talking sticks, are on sale. And the gentleman at your service. 12 rand, 7 rand. Spear 7 rand, shield is 12 rand. Self-defense. 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 Okay, one. During the day to sit on. If you look carefully, she is sitting on the mat, and we also use these mats to sleep on them at night. And if you could be able to make good mats, very same thing, it is business. And this is passed from mother to the daughter, because when she gets married, surely she have got to know what is expected of her inside the Zulu homestead. And they don't just make or weave mats only, they make things like the filters. This is the filter that we use to strain the Zulu beer. We pour in the mixture right over here so that we could be able to use our both hands and squeeze, but that will be demonstrated shortly. And they also make the baskets that we use for the transportation of things like food, fruits and vegetables from the garden to the Zulu homestead. Siyabonga! Siyabonga just simply means thank you. Keep on snapping those pictures. It's time for us to move on and see what's happening up there.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. One. Yebo! Sanibonani! That is hello to you all. You say Yebo! Now you speak. Are you good? You can say Yebo siyaphila. Welcome That is just welcome. Siyanemukela. Welcome. All right. Now you can clearly see that this is the place whereby they carve the wood and turn it into something useful or just something for decorating. So right over here, they are using their skills, their talent, and their bravery, of course, because it takes a very, very brave man to be able to craft this. Look at how sharp the cane knife that he's using is. So it does not have to get in closer to your finger. You'll chop it off immediately. So while these people actually use their hands, they craft things a very long time ago. This was very popular because they made things like wooden spoons as well as wooden plates, the very same plates that we use even today. So right now, if you look carefully over this side, you could be able to see most of their crafts that they make right over here. The fish as well as the snakes, going down to the talking sticks, the wooden spears, as well as the tree right over here. This is beautiful craft right over here with the birds right on top. So while this is something that they make and they could be able to sell it for a living. Some people really do love what they see and then they could be able to buy things. So what I'm trying to say is that everything that you see down here is on sale, including the walking sticks on the other side right over there that you can also use to discipline someone. Feel free, ladies and gentlemen, to browse around and then we will be moving on from here to see what's happening. From the sound it makes as you push it in, when it penetrates the man's stomach, it goes out. How harsh. Yeah, but with the knob at the back which can help you pull it out easily when the spear is stuck. And now if you look carefully on the ground, the sticks are demonstrating or representing warriors, surely showing you how the warriors usually attack each other, the buffalo horns formation and the strategy of following each other. Here comes the demonstration. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, no kamata semini lapha lindimpi nathi ipenyuka lapha ngezansi. Ngoba nibona njena nempondo zakomozi mkanjena ichaza lepho ukuthi imi kanje. Ilinde laba bayenyuka beze la. Nathi isizwe izinto engaphambili efishane ingemumva ngoba lezi efishane ziphuza kuyibona impisi ezalele ekudeni. Hayi ngempela nangu lapha seyigwaza lapha nipi uzoqala memeze ethi sabe phakathi bese ayigwaza ipi ukuqhuba ufaka la ngoba ubona nje ungenile lapha wayese memeze yayisisuka ipi fula hawu ngapha fula hawu angopha angigwaza uyakhala ukuthi baye baba wagwaza sweni maye khumu ngiyaxolisa wasuda.
That is something. This low door will force you as you go inside to bow down, and also bowing is the sign of respect. You are showing respect to whoever is inside. And also remember, when enemies are attacking, they cannot just walk in with their weapons like this, but they will be forced by this low door to bow down. If you're inside, the first thing that comes in is the head. See the head popping in and then you chop it off. No, that's very harsh. Maybe just rearrange the shape of that head and protect yourself. And this is the wall that we call iguma, for preventing dust as well as leaves falling from the trees during the windy day, so it won't go inside easily. But this is mainly for the privacy. Anyone who's passing by outside should not be able to see what is happening inside, unless if you decide to peep above the wall. For example, you, sir, so like you deserve punishment.
I got lucky again.
You did not. The gentlemen are busy right across. The kitchen hut with the spaces or the ventilations all around. And here I have got the ingredients for brewing the Zulu beer. First, this is the sorghum that we use to make malt. which is used for the fermentation of the Zulu beer. And we also use maize or corn. We grind the dry one very, very hard, and the dry one using stones to make meal. So it takes like 3 up to 4 days, then the beer will be ready, depending on the weather, because when the weather is like this, then it ferments a little bit quicker. So the lady down here will be showing us on how to use the filter to strain. Then we are going to see how the Zulu beer comes out of the filter.
Having some beer?
You don't prefer it fruited.
Well fermented mixture after 3 days will be looking something like that, and then you pour it inside the filter, and then you could be able to squeeze that Zulu beer off.
Think of it as hops.
The husk remaining is what we give to the chickens, and they love this so much. And guess what happens next? Yes, it still contains alcohol. It is still wet, so should chickens eat quite a lot, surely they get drunk. Imagine drunken chickens. Yeah. They make it very good Kentucky Fried Chicken. So thank you. Whoa! Keep on smiling. Give them some love. Give them a big round of applause. The the dance that we are going to perform first is the bull dance. In Zulu we call it ushiame. This is the dance that is designed for us to expose our oomph, to expose our strength, our effort. And when we perform this dance, we lift our arms high in the shape of the horns for the bulls. In between the dances, there will be some intervals of music, and ladies are going to begin with their own bull dance. It will be laying down the foundation for the warrior's dance.
Thank you very much. Like as you're watching them, so now they like to watch you. Can I get some volunteers? Come forward. Can I get some volunteers, my friend?
Angela.
call that all kinds of bliss. Let us enjoy the Xhosa dance. Thank you very much. Now, from across the Lubombo Mountains up north in Zululand, you will find people called Amatong. Amatong are the part of the Zulu tribe because when they were defeated by King Shaka, when they were incorporated to the Zulu tribe, Matonga people never forget their culture, especially their dance, which is fast, energetic, and is controlled mostly by the beating of drums and beating of hands. Here they are. Amatong! I like to present a song that is called Wemshelwa, meaning my proposal. After that song, we are going to see the Botswana dance. All the way from Botswana, they came here to Shakaland to exchange their culture. So we, as people of Shakaland, we adopt their style so that we can show to you what other people do in Africa. After that, we'll be singing a married song. But first, let's enjoy this song. It's sung by a beautiful lady by the name of Tito.
Uzongkhumbula mhla phela manje
Tumela Batswana, Tumela. Tumela Batswana, Tumela. Are Tumela, Tumela. Are Tumela Batswana. Are Tumela, Tumela. Are Tumela Batswana. Bota, bota, bota. Bota, bota, bota. We Batswana, Tumela.
and gentlemen, that was a hunting dance. It's Kenyana where the Zulu warriors were showing you how they go to a thick forest and hunt for bucks like wild cats. After hunting, they'll come back with the meat and everyone will be excited. After having the meat, also drinking beer, there'll be time for everyone to show off their different dances. Men will try to outdance the maidens, and the maidens will prove to the men that they could do just as much. So it's all turned out to be the competition. The next dance coming up is a war dance. This one represents the Battle of East Side One, the Anglo-Zulu War that took place in 1879, where the Zulu warriors with only shield and spears managed to defeat the British. Those warriors that were surviving the battle, they went back to their homestead. So they were showing women how they're fighting against the British. So while everyone was celebrating, ladies come up with their own dance. On the second section of this dance, you're going to see young Zulu warriors imitating the British while they were cocking their guns. When they learned very hard on the banks, Ngoma, Yamaha Mangana, the small shoulder dance. This one was introduced by King Shaka to say, farewell to his guests, the warriors, the maidens, who say farewell to you as a guest with a small shoulder dance. Enjoy. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I said to you that was the last dance. Now, the warriors and the maidens, they have something for you. They have two nice, blessed songs that I want to sing for you. The choir, yeah.
Wasamati uzuyitini impilo yami uphinde ukhusele umoya wami wasamati uzuyitini impilo yami uphinde ukhusele umoya Dikokele bawo Dikokele meli wami Zalo mhlaba bawo Yes.
Now, it's time for you to fill up your tummies. Please remain seated.